Good afternoon, everybody. First, I would like to sincerely thank the organizers, Nuevo Ciclo and Delfines and Libertad, Jessica and Mauricio, for coordinating this very important conference to form a Caribbean alliance, and for inviting me to share my fight against captivity in the Bahamas. This is an historic meeting, and one which I'm extremely hopeful will help us all do a better job in networking to help dolphins. And I'm sorry, I don't have any slides, so you're just going to have to put up with me. Okay, so the history of captive dolphins in the Bahamas goes back to the late 1960s, when dolphins were caught and placed in tiny concrete tanks at the Seafloor Aquarium in Nassau, Bahamas. Over the years, dolphins were caught and penned in Bimini and Eleuthera for the movie Duncombe, and later released into the waters off in Providence, approximately 40 miles from where they were captured. There are currently 3 legal dolphin facilities in the Bahamas: Dolphin Encounters with 21 dolphins, Atlantis with 51, and UNESCO with 14. And the illegal facility, which my organization, Re-Earth, took to court, Blackbeard's Key, which now has 9 dolphins. Despite the claims by developers that these facilities are providing an educational outlet to promote conservation issues, we would suggest that they're more about perpetuating a multi-billion industry benefiting from extremely inadequate legislation for both wild and captive dolphins. Additionally, with a huge deficit of human resources, the regulatory control that would oversee these dolphins is sorely lacking. According to Gail Woon, a colleague and friend, in the late 1980s, UNESCO captured approximately 16 Mexican dolphins from the Bay of Campeche. The lucky ones were tossed back with broken limbs and other injuries. Some drowned. 6 were taken into captivity and are now in Grand Bahama, where 4 remain alive today. There were also 3 dolphins at the Britannia Hotel Canal, which is now part of the Atlantis complex. In 1990, we began negotiations with the hotel for the possibility of having Rick O'Barry rehabilitate and possibly release those 3 dolphins. Negotiations were well on the way, and we were about to have Rick come in when we were told that the deal was off. Britannia reneged on our deal, and they told us the dolphins had been sold to UNESCO on Grand Bahama. We were heartbroken for them. In 1990, Ludwig Meister captured 9 dolphins in Abaco on a permit for 6. The dolphins were placed in seaside pens in extremely shallow water, almost identical to the substandard facility at Blackbeard's Key. Every afternoon, the remaining free pod would come to the pens to visit them. Sometime after their capture, I read about Ben White, who was still then a part of Sea Shepherd. He had come to the Bahamas and cut the cages at the Abaco facility. I was so thrilled. Unfortunately, the dolphins did not leave the pens. They had already become dependent on being fed. Despite our best efforts to push the government to make Meister return the dolphins to the wild, backdoor deals were completed, and the dolphins remained in captivity to this day. Only 4 of the original 9 are still alive. There were also rumors that as the dolphins died in that facility, they were simply replaced from the wild. With no photo identification being conducted, who was to know which dolphin was which? These dolphins were finally moved to Salt Key many years ago to be closer to the largest tourism base in Nassau. It has been renamed Blue Lagoon, where Dolphin Encounters currently operates. In 1996, another businessman applied to the government to capture 6 wild Bahamian dolphins for a swim program. Re-Earth ran an ad evoking the very primal connection, imagining never seeing your children again, and tied it to the very similar, highly complex social bonds that dolphins have. We called on the Bahamian public to flood the business with calls and voice their objection to this venture. Callers inundated his business line, disrupting their business for several days while the ad ran. Re-Earth was threatened with a lawsuit, but at the end of the day, the plan to capture the dolphins was shelved. In early 2000, we learned that Sir Sol Kersner of Atlantis wanted to have dolphins for a swim encounter. The government at the time decided that they would enact a Marine Mammal Protection Act, and that somehow would appease those of us who were vehemently against the captivity of dolphins. Naomi Rose and Courtney Vale, Courtney was formerly with Whale and Dolphin, and Naomi was the Humane Society, helped us strengthen the proposed bill for presentation to the government. A longtime animal activist, Jane Mather, and I went to these meetings to discuss what needed changing in the Marine Mammal Protection Act. But the meetings were always heavily weighted with the industry personnel, and even though we requested to have Naomi present as our expert, our request was denied. Atlantis, on the other hand, had at least 5 people. Practically everything we proposed was turned down, and the industry got everything they wanted. The only thing that we did get that we wanted was that there would be no more wild captures in the Bahamas. Originally, Kersner was looking to import captured dolphins from the Solomon Islands, but following a coordinated international outcry, he backed off. Then, in 2005, Hurricane Katrina obliterated Gulfport, Mississippi, destroying marine life oceanarium, and Kersner was allowed to import the Katrina dolphins, and the transfer was hailed as a rescue, greenwashing at its best. Before the animals were brought into the Bahamas, I had meetings with Butch Kersner, Sol Kersner's son, of Atlantis, to discuss the possibility of creating a dolphin sanctuary for these rescued dolphins. Unfortunately, that was not to be. Atlantis went ahead with the program and imported an additional 8 dolphins from Cuba. So what I thought was going to be a quick and easy fight has turned into 25 years of animal and environmental activism. This is not on the screen, but I'm about to go into the legal battle that we fought over Blackbeard's Key. And I just want to say that legality has nothing to do with ethics and morality. And, you know, I just, for anybody that is sitting on the fence about captivity, I just want you to imagine that you can go live in a house anywhere in the world, have all the food you want, have the best medical treatment that money can buy. You can watch whatever you want. The only stipulation is you cannot go out of your house. I want to know if you would be okay to be separated from your mother, your father, your brothers, your sisters, your friends. Would that be okay? Would that be an acceptable trade-off? Would your freedom be an acceptable trade-off to that life? Because we don't even offer dolphins a fraction of the life they live in the wild.
Ella dice que esa no está en el escrito, pero ella hace la pregunta de que nos pongamos en el lugar de los delfines y de que imaginemos que nos privan de nuestra libertad y que ya nunca podemos volver a ver a nuestros familiares o a nuestros seres queridos y que no podemos salir de nuestro hogar. Entonces ella pregunta, ¿les gustaría eso, sentir eso?
So, Blackbeard's Key, the illegal facility. So over the years, Re-Earth kept on top of any new facilities that were in the works. Rumors always floated up, but in 2013, an article in one of our newspapers mentioned that a new dolphin facility at Blackbeard's Key at Balmoral Island was in the works. We immediately went to work calling, writing every government agency to see how far this process was and how we might be able to stop it. Blackbeard's Key, Blue Illusions, they go by so many names. I think they did it on purpose so nobody knew what was what. But it's located on its own small island, about a mile off of Nassau, and would cater primarily to cruise ship passengers. And because Carnival Cruises was named as the primary cruise line that would patronize this facility, we wrote them too. At no time did we ever get a response from Carnival, and other than an acknowledgement of receiving our letters, we received nothing from our government either. So for those of you who want to start, going after these facilities, any new facilities, please listen to what we did. We researched every law that might pertain to the seabed, building, coastal protection, wildlife refuges, and animal welfare laws and brought them into play, showing the government where they were trampling the law. We also kept a running log of every email, letter, phone call, and meeting we had. This would become critical in our legal case. In the same year, I joined forces as a member of the board with the new environmental group, Save the Bays, whose lead attorney, Fred Smith, promised to help us fight this facility in court. Without any communication, transparency, notice, and despite our persistent call, letters, best efforts, the Bahamas government hastily approved the facility and the importation permits and allowed 8 dolphins from the Instituto de Ciencias Marinas, Honduras, to enter the country in July of 2013. There were 5 male dolphins, Cortex, Dixon, Ken, and Vin, and the 4 females were Fiona, Margarita, and Pigeon. We have recently learned that a dolphin named Mickey was transported instead of Bailey. This adds another layer of shoddy paperwork to an already questionable facility. The Swim with the Dolphins facility at Blackbeard's Key has objectively deplorable conditions. The pens are 7 feet at mid-tide. There's no shade available to any of the dolphins, and many of them have cataracts, and there's no protection or contingency plans available to relocate the dolphins in the event of a hurricane. So, in December 2013, with financial assistance from Save the Bays, Re-Earth filed for judicial review. In February of 2014, we were granted leave to file for judicial review, which basically means we can go to court. In April 2014, we went to court. On July 17, 2014, a year after the dolphins were imported, the Bahamas Supreme Court issued an order to revoke all import and operating licenses for Blackbeard's Key, Blue Illusions, etc. The court also ordered the removal of the dolphins from the facility and also found that Blue Illusions, the owner of the $8 million project, were in contravention of the Planning and Subdivision Act as well and had conducted extensive development without site plan approval. The ruling further found that the Prime Minister and the Town Planning Committee had breached their statutory duties. Since the ruling, Blue Illusions and its owner, St. Martin-based businessman Samir Andrawas, have pushed back against the court's decision. The company has moved ahead with construction despite the court order, sinking another $4 million into the project, with the investment cost now totaling $12 million, or according to him anyway. 2 years and 3 months after the Supreme Court judgment, Blackbeard Key continues its operations. In August of 2015, Supreme Court Justice Stephen Isaacs finalized his order requiring the immediate closure of the facility, revoking the granting of dolphin import license as well as the site plan approval. With the government in contempt of the Supreme Court order, this prompted Re-Earth to go back to the Supreme Court and ask to attach a penal endorsement to the order. All parties but the Prime Minister have been served, and most importantly, 2 years later, the dolphins still swim in a substandard sea pen, completely ignoring the court order. So our government continues to be in contempt of the highest court in the country, and we are looking for ways to get them to comply. It appears that even shaming them doesn't work. We've run ads saying that no one is above the law, not even the Prime Minister, and yet nothing is done. In the meantime, Re-Earth began identifying possible sites for sanctuary to place the now 9 dolphins from Blackbeard's Key. So I want to talk a little bit about the Honduran connection, because there are lawsuits that surround that as well. So in 2014, the business partnership between Blue Illusions and the Instituto de Ciencias deteriorated. resulting in another Supreme Court ruling in December 2015, which found that 8 dolphins, the ownership was in question, and the Supreme Court found that the 8 dolphins belonged to the Honduran supplier, not Samir and Drowis. The judge did not want the dolphins moved out of the Bahamas jurisdiction until that appeal process with regard to ownership was exhausted. In February 2016, the Hondurans obtained an export permit from the Ministry of Agriculture. However, it was discovered that one of the dolphins, Fiona, was pregnant. She gave birth to a male calf on the 28th or 29th of May this year. And now we understand that Marge is also pregnant. In addition, in April of 2016, the developer of Blackbeard's Key filed a number of nuisance legal actions, one of them appealing the ruling of the ownership, which they lost in July of 2016. This man likes to lose his court cases, that's all I can say. One of the lawsuits also challenged visitation rights by the Hondurans to inspect the dolphins, which the developer also lost. And now the Hondurans are able to visit the dolphins once a month to ensure that they are being looked after adequately. These counter lawsuits have been nothing more than an attempt to overturn the original judgment from Justice Isaacs by backdoor approach. And there are 2 more lawsuits that are in the works. Our online petition urging the closure of this illegal facility has gained the support of over 230,500 people. That petition also calls for no more facilities and transitioning existing facilities into sanctuaries. In 2015, the Bahamas was removed from the world's 10 best ethical destinations as a direct result of Blackbeard's Key and dolphins in captivity in general, among animal abuse-related issues, in particular to our Surrey horses. I want to talk to you about the hurricanes, because we just had one. The dying dolphins at Blackbeard's Key should have been moved a long time ago. And given the terms of the judgment that was granted in 2014, the Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Alfred Gray, and his ministry became responsible for these dolphins for their health, safety, and well-being. Balmoral Island, where the dolphins are penned, is 752 meters long, or half a mile long, by 178 meters wide, 1/10 of a mile. During Hurricane Matthew, the most recent storm which ripped through the Bahamas, leaving practically no island unscathed, we were told that the 4 females and the calf were left in the shallowest pen, and the 5 males moved on to land pools in what has to be one of the worst hurricanes to hit New Providence in years. We have heard unofficially that they are still alive, but I cannot imagine the terror they must have endured for at least a 24-hour period while we experienced a Category 4 hurricane with winds of 120 miles, gusting to 140 miles, and the eye narrowly missing New Providence, where the dolphins are a mile away. Despite Re-Earth having repeatedly expressed concerns since 2013 with regard to the location of the facility, and having provided the government and the developer with a hurricane disaster and recovery plan prepared by dolphin experts prior to the hurricane activity, the government chose to put the lives of the 9 dolphins at an unacceptable risk. And it also had the potential to put human lives at risk because they wanted to leave 2 people on this tiny little island to guard the dolphins. The lack of action or plan to evacuate the dolphins by the government was and remains unconscionable. So in the midst of having won the court case and feeling like the proverbial dog who chased and caught the car, we began the process of identifying several sites that could be feasible to create a dolphin sanctuary where dolphins from close facilities could live the rest of their lives in peace and dignity. Their welfare and needs would be given the highest priority. Initially, we contacted existing facilities in the hopes that they would see the vision to transition their facilities into sanctuaries and get ahead of the curve. However, that was unsuccessful. Since then, we've been working with a number of dolphin experts, including Naomi Rose and Courtney Vale, to ensure the potential sites are suitable and especially safe in a hurricane event. Then, all we'll need is a lot of money and the political will to see it through. It would be amazing if we could offer the 9 dolphins at Blackbeard's Key, or other dolphins from the region, refuge from their current unacceptable conditions. The ultimate success of this project will rely on government approval, and making dolphins citizens of the Bahamas would garner immense positive attention and would generate free worldwide publicity for the government of the Bahamas. IMS would also bask in the sunshine and would be perceived as a leader toward ending the captive display of dolphins. Even though we live in a world where exploitation is considered normal and compassion is considered extreme, there has been a shift of consciousness all over the world. With a growing number of ordinary people, animal advocacy organizations, and powerful documentaries like The Fall from Freedom, The Cove, and Blackfish, raising popular awareness on the plight of whales and dolphins, as well as other animals, and bringing pressure to bear on trophy and canned hunting, zoos, animal agriculture, circuses, and aquariums all over the world. Ultimately, a culture of truthfulness and grassroots leadership is gathering momentum, and it will be hard, if not impossible, to stop. Since Blackfish, SeaWorld's profits have plummeted. Closer to home, we've been told that one of the facilities has gone from 120 encounters a day during the summer to 40 a day. In part, that's also because of the opening of Blackbeard's Key, but the drop coincided with the airing of Blackfish.